Tonight, swim safe this summer.
My entire life, I've always been told undertow was a concern, and we're finding now that rip currents are more of a concern.
The warning for anyone along local shorelines before heading into the water. Plus, parvovirus in community housing.
There is a large number of dogs in the building. The potential for this to spread is huge. Vaccinations
urged to mitigate the risks. And welcome to the Hall.
Give it to Thornton. He'll shoot. And it's
A local hockey star earns one of the sport's highest honors.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a developing story in Tillsonburg. OPP tactical unit members are currently part of a heavy police presence outside a townhouse complex. Oxford OPP say they were called to Concession Road East shortly after the noon hour. Heavily armed emergency response officers were seen around the complex. Witnesses report hearing police trying to communicate with someone inside one of the townhouse units. Police are asking people to avoid the area, but they say there's no threat to public safety. To the latest on this oppressive heat wave lingering over our region. This is day 3 of a heat warning from Environment Canada. Everyone is encouraged to stay in cooler spaces when possible, drink lots of water, limit outdoor activities, and check on older family members and neighbors. The city has opened several cooling centers, and all municipal spray pads are open. Meanwhile, London Hydro is reporting record demand for power. Officials say customers used 716 megawatts yesterday, the highest recorded peak in the past 10 years. They say the highest demand is usually between 4 and 6 p.m., and they say residents should wait until later in the day to charge cars or use large appliances. So far, they say the system is handling the extra demand without issue.
Our heat warning continues, but adding to that, we have severe thunderstorms moving through. Good evening. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect in through western Middlesex County and eastern Lambton County. A severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the areas lit up in yellow, as you can see, in all of the region under the heat warning. Now, we've had some big storms moving through the area. The main threats will be and have been heavy downpours and some strong gusty winds. Lots of moisture to work with. The humidex in London today hitting 43, so that's how warm it felt. Now, this band of rainfall that's just made its way through the Strathroy area will continue to drive eastward, coming into London in the next hour. Temperature-wise, we're still dealing with the heat and humidity. This is out ahead of a weak front that is dropping through. That will bring an end to the extreme heat, but not the humidity. We'll still be left with some humid conditions as we head into tomorrow, but our heat warning will come to an end. Temperatures holding between 28 and 32. Cooler spots now in Wyerton and Goderich, and still dealing with that humidex. I'll take you through the forecast. We'll look ahead at some humid but less heat, and conditions across our region unsettled as we move toward the weekend. Carlyle?
Julie, thanks very much. Thousands of people are flocking to local beaches to beat the heat. However, swimming season is off to a fatal start in our region, and experts are warning the public to keep in mind the dangers the Great Lakes can pose. With more on that, here's Brent Lale.
Lake Erie waves crashed to the shore in Port Burwell. It was here where a father lost his life Sunday after being pulled under.
My entire life, I've always been told undertow was a concern, and we're finding now that rip currents are more of a concern.
Lifeguard Nate McIntyre was in Port Burwell in the hours after the drowning. He estimates it was a rip current that took the life of Randy Levine.
A rip current being, again, like a focused current of water that's pulling swimmers far off shore and far away from shore into deeper water, where they're left in deeper water. Often people struggle. They want to swim right back to shore immediately, where they know it's safe, and they're swimming against the current.
The city of Windsor closed Sandpoint Beach due to strong currents, and McIntyre believes it's past the point where the public needs education and clarification of terminology.
Preliminary evidence suggests that the public has limited knowledge.
This morning, he made a delegation to Elgin County Council about the Rip Current Information Project.
I tried to establish the campaign here in Elgin County, and I had a really great support from all of the councillors and the warden and the deputy warden as far as amplifying the message and getting the word out to the public this year.
The Life Saving Society estimates that for every fatal drowning, there are 4 to 5 non-fatal drownings, and those are only the ones that are reported. The Elgin County Drowning Prevention Coalition has been collaborating with McIntyre.
Whether you're coming to visit the beach for the day, how can you best learn the conditions, how to protect yourself, but also how can we collaborate with local community services? So for example, the Rip Current Information Project did a great presentation to some of the fire departments, educating them about the dangers, about the science, and that's been something that's been really incredible to kind of join this collective knowledge together of like, how can we understand it, all collaborate towards the same goal of having to reduce and prevent drownings.
Later this summer, Nate will paddle from Port Stanley to Port Burwell. The 35-kilometer challenge hopes to raise further awareness about Great Lake rip currents. Brent Leo, CTV News.
Officials say there have been 2 confirmed parvovirus cases in London community housing. It's a potentially deadly condition which is contagious. Rita Ismail has more on the efforts to contain the spread.
Pet owners inside 2 community housing buildings on Warncliffe Road North in London are concerned. At least 2 pets contracted parvovirus last month and had to be euthanized.
I'm a little bit more worried, but my plan is to get Dane vaccinated very soon.
Dane is among roughly 100 dogs living inside the 2 buildings that are managed by London and Middlesex Community Housing.
Is so concerning. There is a large number of dogs in the building. Most of them are unvaccinated. The potential for this to spread is huge.
Local charity Progressive Animal Welfare Services is urging action to prevent further spread.
Ultimately, we're looking at about $250 to get your dog vaccinated. This being a low-income household area makes that inaccessible to the majority of the residents.
Parvovirus is a highly infectious disease that spreads easily from dog to dog with symptoms including vomiting and diarrhea. If left untreated, it can be fatal. In January, an outbreak in Windsor killed 25 dogs.
The issue is that we really need someone to come on site to do the vaccinations. Transporting all these people and their possibly infected pets in a vehicle to another vet to potentially infect that clinic is not a great plan.
In the meantime, London and Middlesex Community Housing has posted notices in common areas and on every floor of the 2 buildings, urging tenants to take precautions.
Things we need to do treatment outside on the pavement, in the hallways. So it's sort of a pretty much, if we read the material, they want us to bleach the site. We know that's not practical, so we're trying to figure out how do we respond to this.
Armstrong said she's working with local vets to coordinate on-site vaccinations as time remains critical. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
London police say they've charged a 22-year-old man accused of sexually assaulting a girl riding her bike in the city's South End. According to police, the victim is 9 years old. She was riding her bike when a stranger asked her to stop and talk to him Sunday night. And police say he assaulted her when she stopped her bike, and that was witnessed by the girl's father. According to police, the suspect fled the area when the father yelled and ran toward them. They say the suspect was arrested a short time later, and the girl did not sustain any physical injuries. Border officials say they've seized a massive load of cocaine entering Canada at the Blue Water Bridge. According to Canada Border Services, nearly 190 kilograms of coke was found in a commercial truck on June 12th, with an estimated street value of more than $23 million. They say a 27-year-old from Brampton has been charged. A fire broke out in an East London townhouse this afternoon, causing extensive damage. Fire crews responded over the noon hour, saying they contained the flames to an upper-level bedroom. There's an estimated $200,000 in damage. At this point, fire officials have not determined a cause.
There was one occupant inside, and they were alerted to the fire on the 3rd floor. They were in the basement, but because they had a working smoke detector in their home, they were notified of the fire and able to get out safely.
Strathroy-Caradoc police say they're investigating a fatal crash south of the community. They say it happened on Sutherland Road yesterday evening. There was only one vehicle involved, and the 63-year-old driver did not survive. Stratford police are investigating a jewelry store robbery, a third smash and grab at the same location in less than 18 months. Jeff Pickle has more on the latest larceny at the Stratford Mall.
It's a shocking but increasingly familiar sight.
You see stuff like this at, huge stores, but at cities. But for Stratford, I was surprised at the very first one.
Mass thieves smashing and grabbing at a mall jewelry store.
The Stratford police started to receive multiple 911 calls regarding a robbery in progress at the Paris Jewelers located at the Stratford Mall.
Witnesses on scene taking these images, including the car reported stolen from Peel Region earlier that day.
The four suspects fled from the mall in a vehicle, which was located by police and pursued out of the city of Stratford. The pursuit was terminated due to public safety.
Stratford police say Waterloo Region police also spotted the vehicle but had to abandon their pursuit.
Obviously, there's a huge safety risk factor with a crime like this. There's violence being used, weapons being used. The psychological impact, not only for the employees, but for the other individuals, pedestrians using the mall.
The robbery this Sunday, the third smash and grab at this store in the last year and a half. This video taken during a robbery in January of last year.
So they're picking spots that are easy to get to and easy to get away from.
Former OPP Commissioner Chris Lewis says the store location in the mall and the mall's proximity to the highway are likely contributing factors.
Scouting these things out. They don't want to go out right into the middle of a mall running around, their faces covered, carrying baseball bats or hammers or whatever they're using.
Arrests have been made in one of the previous robberies. According to Lewis, police will need to make more arrests to deter others.
There's been arrests made. And so who knows the impact that will have inevitably in the future of these, and that some will tell on each other and some will be inspired to not do it anymore, but time will tell.
No one injured in the latest robbery, and police did not say how much jewelry was stolen. Anyone with information is asked to contact Stratford Police. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Stratford.
After 2 decades of delays, an east-west connection is moving forward in South London. City crews have started work on a Bradley Avenue extension between White Oak and Wharncliffe. Sean Irvin reports.
Vehicles turn left or right from Bradley Avenue to continue their journey to London's West End. For decades, drivers have been told their zigzag commute would be relieved by the extension of Bradley between White Oak Road and Wharncliffe. How long have you been hearing about this?
Probably about 20 years.
His memory is spot on. 20 years ago, we told the story of the coming Bradley extension and its impact on a business directly in its path. At the time, its late owner refused to let the city move ahead.
Property is not for sale, but if you want really to take it, it will be costly.
Fast forward to the present. The same property is in the path, but the city now has control over the project. As a result, on both sides of the planned extension, early work has begun. First up, preparations to widen Bradley from Jalna to White Oak Road. In the coming months, work on the new roadway to Wharncliffe will commence. Now, if all goes according to plan, this nearly 2-year project will wrap up in the spring of 2027, finally connecting this new section of Bradley Avenue between White Oak Road and Wharncliffe. That is good news for those who frequently travel the isolated Bradley Avenue West extension built a decade ago. How many times a day do you turn left here?
About 3 to 5, actually.
3 to 5 a day? How much difference would it make if you could go straight through?
Would be a world of difference.
And not only in terms of traffic flow. Left turns onto Wharncliffe are risky.
I've witnessed numerous crashes, near crashes, from people being too anxious at this intersection. I don't like it the way it is right now. It should be going straight, and it should have a traffic light.
And then there is the issue of change. Some don't like that trees have already been cut down. Jim Matzik counts himself among them. But on the other hand, he acknowledges more passing cars is a positive for business.
We'll be a little more visible. I mean, we're going to change the signage on the building so it's a little clearer But yeah, it could be good for business.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
City Council is moving forward with redeveloping a pair of municipal parking lots at Horton and Rideout, converting them into housing. 2 city lots at Horton and Rideout will go ahead with requests for proposals by the end of the year. The mayor says 3 submissions have already been made, ranging from 450 to 600 units. He says as many as 10% would be designated affordable. Each proposal also includes at least 300 public parking spaces.
Housing in the core is really critical to supporting the businesses down there, and this is kind of the southern end of what is a grassroots movement called the River District, where private sector business owners, public institutions have come together to say we really want to brand this area in a dynamic way and get people excited about it. So there could be a development here that plays into that. I think there's a lot of potential for it.
London fire officials say a construction crew hit a gas line west of London this morning, closing a major commuter route. Crews were working north of a new roundabout linking Oxford to Keynes Road and Gideon Drive. Fire officials say about 24 homes were evacuated as a precaution. Traffic was rerouted around the site throughout the morning while repairs were completed. The provincial government has announced more than 100 healthcare teams awarded funding through a primary care initiative. The health ministry has put out a call for pitches back in April, looking for new or expanding health teams. Officials say they want to connect 300,000 more people to primary care by the end of this year. 130 teams have been selected for a portion of the $235 million investment to help patients in communities with the greatest need.
This investment is part of our government's $2.1 billion primary care action plan to connect everyone in Ontario to a publicly funded family care doctor or primary care team.
We know that many have waited a long time for this, and while it won't happen overnight, teams will begin accepting patients in the coming weeks and months.
According to the provincial government, every Ontarian should have primary care access by 2029. And meanwhile, the provincial government is investing in rural Ontario development. Scott Miller has more on the dollars up for grabs and what the funds can be used for.
Rural Ontario is getting an infusion of government money to pull from to try and ride out uncertain economic times.
We sometimes feel like we're under the shadow of the GTA and the bigger cities, and we have a lot of residents, a lot of good businesses, and all these things help just promote those and strengthen them.
20 will be available over the next 2 years in the newly developed
CTV London has your chance to unleash your inner Tarzan. Enter now at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to win a 4-pack of passes to Bowler Mountain Treetop Adventure Park.
Welcome back. If you're in South London right now, you're probably aware of a pretty intense storm that is sweeping through this area right now that is affecting our broadcasting capabilities at the moment. We seem to have everything under control at the moment. We will keep you updated as that goes. And of course, Julie Atchison will be by with some details on the storm as it makes its way through. We shift now to the conflict in the Middle East as President Donald Trump says the Israel-Iran ceasefire, which he claims to have arranged, is now back in effect. To this point, the truce appears to be holding after Trump unleashed a social media firestorm. Joy Malvin reports.
After brokering a fragile ceasefire, the U.S. president visibly angry and let the F word fly.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Sending a message to warring nations, Israel and Iran, to knock it off.
I think they both. I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it.
After agreeing to Donald Trump's ceasefire overnight, the Israeli army struck hard at Iranian government targets, including a radar site north of Tehran. and Israel says it struck back too after Iranian missiles had been fired in the south, killing 4 Israelis. The president trying to hold this truce together, telling reporters he was firm, demanding Israel's prime minister bring back its planes and stop the bombing.
Tired of it. I think they don't want it to happen again. And Iran's not going to have a nuclear weapon, by the way. I think it's the last thing on their mind right now.
After the U.S. bombed 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities deep underground and days of Israeli strikes on nuclear targets, Iran has been weakened. But how far has Tehran nuclear ambitions been set back?
Is there any highly enriched uranium left? And are there any of these centrifuges left as well? That's a big question.
And an early U.S. intelligence report suggests that America's bunker-busting bombs may not have destroyed Iran's nuclear sites. This is at odds with the president, who insists they were completely obliterated. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
The Prime Minister was on American TV today calling for de-escalation. Mark Carney is in Europe for the NATO summit, joined there by President Trump and several other world leaders. As Jeremy Sherrill reports, their focus is on defense spending.
An historic NATO summit now underway in the Netherlands. Prime Minister Mark Carney joining all 32 alliance members in The Hague.
Thank you personally for your
meeting with many today for bilateral meetings.
handshake. Okay, very good.
The summit set to focus on a new defense investment plan aimed at increasing NATO's collective readiness.
And it's important to be clear what we are potentially, and I think likely to all agree tomorrow, which is, and let's take the 5% of GDP figure, which is a big, big number.
That figure would become the new baseline defense spending target. 3.5% would be core defense spending and another 1.5% on defense-related infrastructure investments. The increase would cost Canada tens of billions more a year.
Is it actually for you?
5% of our GDP would be about $150 billion.
I mean, that's a lot.
It's a lot of numbers.
Per year?
Per year.
But a timeline to get to it is the next big question. And Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister says it will be an important part of the conversation.
And one of the dates that is being proposed is 2029. And we like to see steps along the way where there can be a re-examination of whether this is the right approach.
But Canada arrives at the summit having only just committed to meet the current 2% target this fiscal year. And some suggest Carney's government has work to do to re-establish Canada's reputation on the issue.
Canada's credibility collectively and the Canadian reputation that Mr. Carney inherited when he became Prime Minister is far from great on this issue.
An official decision on increasing the alliance's defense spending commitment will come tomorrow, when all 32 member nations sit down for the summit's main meeting, where support for Ukraine is on the agenda too. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, The Hague.
The provincial government has unveiled new sketches imagining what a redeveloped Ontario place will look like along Toronto's shoreline. Siobhan Morris has more on the project, which has been plagued by ongoing controversies.
It's very much a work in progress, a tangle of fences and construction workers on the edge of Lake Ontario. But unveiling new renderings of a revamped Ontario place, the Premier is dreaming big.
Enjoy stunning beaches and wetlands, canoeing, boating, kayaking along our beautiful waters, and taking in concerts, markets, and festivals. This is going to be spectacular.
The complex includes 50 acres of public space, including trails, marinas, and beaches. There's a year-round concert venue, the controversial private spa and water park, and new plans for a 3,500-spot, 5-story parking garage on the edge of Lake Ontario. Doug Ford insists it will be blended into the environment.
Well, it's going to be beautiful. We're going to have a berm at the front. You'll barely even see a parking lot.
With plans to add a fountain, some Instagrammable signs.
You watch. It's going to be probably the #1 place where people will take pictures.
The bill, $400 million, but Ford insists it will generate $60 million a year for the province.
That will be going right into Ontario coffers to pay for health care, education, infrastructure.
His goal here is to make money off the backs of the people of Ontario to access their own parkland.
While there had been talk about moving the lot across the street, the Premier says this location is more convenient.
It's going to block views of this project from
from the lakeshore and from the city and sort of cut it off.
Guaranteed parking, a contractual agreement with Therme Canada, the company building the spa at Ontario Place. A spokesperson says now there's parking scattered all over.
All this is a way of consolidating them to create more space for green parks and beaches and free places for people to visit.
Therme's updated plans will be released next month. This master plan doesn't include imaginings of the new science centre planned for Ontario Place, a year after its home at Don Mills in Eglinton was abruptly closed.
We're in the market to find the appropriate builder for the Science Centre currently right now today. We anticipate to have results in the fall.
The government has insisted the Science Centre will have more exhibit space, even though the footprint will be half the size. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
A local hockey player was inducted into the sport's most exclusive club today.
And Burns, they're saying, with the assist. Here's Thornton. There it is.
St. Thomas native Joe Thornton was named to this year's Hockey Hall of Fame induction class. He was drafted in 1997 and went on to play more than 1,700 career NHL games. Thornton was named league MVP in 2006 and was an Olympic gold medalist in 2010. He's also 14th all-time in NHL scoring with more than 1,500 career points. Extreme heat is baking parts of the U.S., leading to a range of issues. This was in Missouri. A road buckled right before a car drove over it. The next vehicle was able to slow down just in time. In slow motion, you can see the road snap, leaving the driver with next to no time to respond. Temperatures there are in the 34 degrees Celsius range, and they're expected to stay there all week. Back now with our meteorologist, Julie Atchison. A bit of a lull actually right now, because through the first half hour or so of this broadcast, we've been hearing the roar of a storm here in South London, pretty intense, affecting our broadcast. A calm now, it sounds like, at least.
Yeah, right here. The storm's moving rapidly eastward, so just coming right now in towards Dorchester, moving outside of the city. The main threats, as I mentioned, damaging wind gusts and torrential downpours. Now, it's been moving not as quickly as I had previously anticipated, so dumping a lot more rainfall in some areas. Right now coming into Belmont, Springfield area, and Tillsonburg. Expect it for you in the next 35 minutes. Areas just off to the north, another round of thunderstorms moving through. So Dorchester, Ingersoll, get ready. Beachville towards the Woodstock area as well. Severe thunderstorm warning issued with this storm that's been pushing through. So as we zoom out, we are under a warning in Middlesex County. A thunderstorm watch continues in through Sarnia, Lambton, and parts of Elgin County under a severe thunderstorm watch as well. Heat warning. This front that's slumping its way through. It was fairly weak through the day today, not really doing anything, and all of a sudden we started seeing storms erupt in advance of it. So this front is just slowly meandering its way southward. The winds starting to shift to the north behind it. So this is going to break the heat, not the humidity. It's still going to be quite humid tomorrow. At the London airport today, hitting 32.5 degrees. It felt like 43 this afternoon in London. Midwestern Ontario, it was a steamy start to the day, but temperatures are starting to drop off for you. 26 at the airport, the winds gusting with this thunderstorm that moved through. Pressure is falling as well. Satellite radar showing you this front that's just slinking its way over the area. As soon as it drops south, it'll stall, and then it's actually going to lift back northward as a warm front. So that'll be coming in as we head toward Friday, and that will keep the forecast unsettled. That's why we have the chance for showers over the next couple of days. Now, the probability on the lower end tomorrow, we'll be dealing with some cloud cover across the area, but the probability of showers at about a 30% chance. Looking across Canada, I just wanted to mention parts of Alberta this morning dropped near the freezing mark, and they broke low temperature records. 20 records were broken in southern Ontario yesterday. We will likely see a number of records falling again today. Parts of southern Quebec hitting 35.5 degrees, so almost 36 this afternoon. Overnight, temperatures dipping down a bit, cooler than it was last night. Last night we were at about 24 degrees. Tonight we dipped down between 16 and 19. So not cooling right off, but you will notice a bit of a change. Heading into your Wednesday, 28 to 29 degrees, still 30 towards Kitchener-Waterloo, but areas where you will see some cooling relief will be along the shoreline of Lake Huron. We'll have a very light flow coming off the lake, and the temperature is expected not not to be quite as hot. So tomorrow afternoon, still quite warm. So 28, 29 degrees, still feeling like 36, but not feeling like 45. So that's some good news. Showers, possibility of a few pop-up thunderstorms again tomorrow, but the probability on the lower end, and then the chance for rain will linger as we head into Thursday and Friday. It looks like a round of storms coming into northern Huron, Perth County, Grey Bruce as we head into Thursday morning, and then Thursday afternoon, just the chance for some showers. So unsettled conditions expected. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast takes us into Canada Day. 26 degrees on Thursday with a 60% chance of rain. On Friday, the humidity socks back in. It'll feel close to 40. Mainly cloudy on Saturday, lots of sunshine on Sunday. A few showers around on Monday, but Canada Day looking good under a mix of sun and cloud and 26. Midwestern Ontario cooler along the lakeshore tomorrow. Temperatures further inland around 25 to 26. We do have some showers in the forecast Thursday and Friday, but not all day rain. You can see on the forecast model, they just kind of pop up in and around the area. So nothing widespread. We get back into the warm sector and that promotes a lot of instability. Canada Day is looking fantastic. We're expecting a nice mix of sun and cloud. We got to get there first. Once again, we have some hot and humid conditions arriving to the area into Friday, but some sunshine as we roll through the weekend. Lots going on in the Weather Center again tonight, Carlyle. Back to you.
For sure, Julie. Thanks very much. Still ahead, a cautionary tale about the potential cost of a leaky water fixture.
On the latest episode of In Conversation with Rita Ismail, the Honourable Ed Holder joins me to chat about his time as London's 64th mayor and his life after retirement.
In Conversation with Rita Ismail, available at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
We heard from country star Corey Kent, who shared his pre-show ritual. He likes to play taser roulette, which is terrifying. TJ, do you have any pre-show rituals?
Yeah, I like to read the news. I like to cry in the car. Normal stuff. Yeah, join us on the show tomorrow morning at 6.
Canada's annual inflation rate held steady last month at 1.7%. Stats Canada data indicates the consumer carbon price removal has kept prices lower at the pumps, but grocery prices were up 3.3% in May compared to the same time last year. There were slower increases in rent and mortgage costs, considered more influential factors in keeping inflation lower. The Bank of Canada is expected to make its next interest rate decision on July 30th. A water use warning amid these high temperatures. If you don't track how much you're going through, you may not catch a leak, which, as Pat Foran reports, can eventually add up to a substantial bill.
I was shocked. I actually laughed because I'm like, there's no way that this is correct.
Alan Dioki Singh bought a unit in this Scarborough condominium. In the fall of 2023, he was told his water consumption was higher than usual. And even though it's a newer building, he eventually found out he had not one, but 2 leaky toilets.
I just don't know how you could let this thing run for 6 months and let it just add up.
Dioki Singh had to pay a water bill of $9,000. He rents out the unit and says before he could get the toilets replaced, he was hit again with another bill of $8,500 for a total of more than $17,000.
Think of it, I'm paying, you're looking at $17,000 you want from me because of water.
This is not just about me. This could happen to anybody.
Olive May of Welland had a toilet running in her basement and was shocked to get a bill of more than $7,500. Her son-in-law says she is only billed every 3 months and was given no warning that something was wrong.
We're not denying that it leaked. We just think that it's an exorbitant amount of money to pay for a water bill.
Dioki Singh's water provider, PowerStream Energy Services, says he must pay the outstanding bill, telling CTV News, "We are aware of a plumbing issue impacting this residence. Water usage within a property remains the responsibility of the account holder." May has also been told she must pay her water bill in full. The city of Welland said the homeowner acknowledged a leaky toilet. Every homeowner is responsible for the water consumed on their property. To avoid high water bills, listen and check for leaky toilets. You should be able to hear running water, or you can put food dye in the back of the tank and see if it leaks through to the toilet bowl. May and Dioki Singh remain frustrated they have to pay the huge water bills.
I paid more than my fair share. Let's just get on with my life.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Strength in technology stocks helped Canada's main stock index climb today. The TSX gained 109 points. In New York, the Dow added 507, the Nasdaq up 282. The Canadian dollar lost almost a quarter cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell $61 an ounce, and oil dropped more than $4 a barrel. Later on CTV News, the BC drivers with a front row seat to a black bear cage match. Welcome back. Alberta's NDP leader now has a seat in the province's legislature after winning one of 3 by-elections.
I would like to introduce to you the MLA for Edmonton Strathcona, our leader, Naheed Nenshi.
Naheed Nenshi won an Edmonton riding comfortably. It was previously held by the party's former leader, Rachel Notley. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith congratulated Nenshi on his victory, saying she looks forward to constructive debate and advancing Alberta's interests. Heat warnings have been issued in southern Quebec and much of mainland Nova Scotia.
Hello, summer!
3 outdoor pools are actually staying open late until 10 p.m. every night so people can cool off. Humidex values were expected to be in the 40 to 45 range today. Temperatures in Nova Scotia were forecasted in the 30-degree range this afternoon, but feeling more like 40 with the humidity. New research from the University of British Columbia shows what can happen when extreme heat and wildfire smoke combine.
There's often a lot of focus on wildfire smoke on those days when the sky turns orange and everything smells like a campfire. But what we found was that there was risk on days where people might not even realize that it's a little bit smoky.
Researchers say they examined more than 21,000 deaths outside healthcare settings during wildfire seasons from 2010 to 2022. They say it was more dangerous when extreme heat and smoke were combined, but the risk was actually higher on hotter days compared to smoky days. They say wildfire smoke can still be damaging, though, at much lower concentrations than they anticipated. A 20-year-old amateur filmmaker is documenting his family's journey paddling through northern Ontario, planting personal flags along the way. As Lydia Chubak reports, those flags are a form of protest against what they call government overreach.
But we have to do it together. Mamo.
Geronimo Cataquapit of Attawapiskat First Nation is using his skills as a filmmaker to protect his ancestral land.
This is a national call to action.
Cataquapit is taking a stand against the federal and provincial governments and their newly passed laws to fast-track economic projects.
I didn't believe something like this could be happening this year, especially this fast, just out of the blue, almost essentially out of the blue. And so I thought, like, I took maybe an hour to process it. Then I said, okay, we got to go do something.
He, his parents, and brother are doing just that. They are currently canoeing the Attawapiskat and Muckaty rivers to install flags created by families who live on these waterways.
These family flags just have their signature, maybe their handprints, and whatever message they want to put on there. It could be art, it could be whatever. It's totally up to them, just as long as it's made by them. And instead of any of Attawapiskat flags, all here where these 2 rivers meet, we hang up their flags to show that the families use this territory.
And Cataquapit says more support is needed. Through his social media platforms, he invites others to join him for live updates, and he urges followers to take a stand against the government legislation.
If we do not make our stand here, then no Indigenous nation on Turtle Island will be safe from their destructive greed.
Cataquapit is a second-year university student studying geography and environmental management. He says this situation is serious enough for him to put his education on hold.
If they do not respond to our demands to withdraw Bill 5 and scrap the national interest legislation, we will be prepared to further escalate our actions taken.
Cataquapit's father is proud of his son's efforts.
We were supporting each other, all 4 of us. And especially I was supporting our son Geronimo. He's leading this what he believes.
The Mushkegowuk Council agrees. It wants to make it clear to government that resource development projects in Mushkegowuk territory can only move forward with the full participation and consent of affected Mushkegowuk First Nations. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Canada's first ever beach cleaning robot is rolling onto Ontario sands this summer. This is the Bee-Bot making its debut on the shores of Lake Simcoe. The fully electric machine cleans sand and rakes seaweed up to 30 times faster than a human. It's part of a project removing plastic debris from lakes across North America.
A weak front slipping through will break the intense heat, but still hot and humid as we head into Wednesday. We'll see a few spotty showers Thursday into Friday. Thanks, Robbie Robinson, for this photo taken at Little Beach in Port Stanley. It looks very inviting.
The governor of Maine was in New Brunswick today, meeting with that province's premier, discussing economic partnerships.
We're concerned about the so-called tariffs, which are really nothing but taxes on the American people. Let's call it what it is. The Wall Street Journal issued an editorial a couple months ago that said this is a large tax heist by the current administration.
Both leaders indicated they are united against the economic barriers created by Trump's tariffs. The Maine governor is next headed to meet with her counterpart in Nova Scotia. The celebrations are underway in Oklahoma City after the Thunder clinched their first NBA championship. It was the franchise's first ever title and actually the first ever major professional championship in the city's history. The Thunder knocked off the Indiana Pacers in 7 games, led by Canadian star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Hamilton native was named MVP of the regular season and the NBA final. Dolly Parton is getting a Las Vegas mini residency. The country music legend hasn't toured since 2016. Yesterday, she announced a 6-concert run at Caesars Palace in December. Dolly Live in Las Vegas will run from the 4th through the 13th. A young athlete in Alberta has developed a special partnership with her school's principal. As Evan Kenny reports, that support is what allows her to compete.
Go ahead.
It's an unorthodox way to do archery, but this is the system Kaya and her principal have come up with. They have to shoot like this because the grade 9 student has arthrogryposis multiplex congenita and clubbed hands and feet. AMC affects people's joints, often fixing them in one position.
When I was born, my legs were curved inwards like that. So I had a few surgeries to straighten my legs out.
She says she always wanted to play a sport, but the condition makes even simple daily tasks a challenge.
Can't walk long distances without feeling tired. Like even just walking to school, and I live like 5 minutes away, it's a lot of effort just because my legs aren't that strong.
I've had the opportunity to kind of see her go through for some of her challenges and how she's overcome things.
They've been a dynamic duo for the past 5 years, creating a special bond, even comparing themselves to cartoon characters SpongeBob and Patrick.
I'm Patrick.
Competing in archery comes with its own learning curve, let alone tag teaming it, but eventually they hit the bullseye, no shock to the people closest to Kaya.
She's such a thirst for life. Like she just wants to do things, and it's...
And she's a go-getter. Like she just... Nothing stops her.
Holding a bow and watching an arrow whiz by isn't typically in a principal's job description, but Les Worthington says he's happy to do it to make her feel like she belongs.
When you're building school culture, you want every kid to feel like they're a part of something.
He has looked out for her like another parent.
It makes me feel like very supported and happy that I have someone who trusts me and believes in me.
Next Monday is AMC Day, bringing awareness to the condition, but every day, Kaya is bringing awareness to the fact the condition is not holding her back. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. We have an update to our top story tonight. Before we go, the standoff in Tillsonburg has ended. According to police, one suspect has been arrested, surrendering without incident. And finally tonight, a street fight in BC, bringing traffic to a standstill over the weekend. The combatants weren't human, though. They were 2 black bears. Simjan Alexander has more on the flying fur, all caught on camera.
No.
We're not entirely sure what led them to Burnaby's Beaverbrook Crescent. We do know it's an unusual sight, especially this sort of behavior playing out right in the middle of the street. One seems to dominate, the other clicking its jaw, sounding rather displeased.
I didn't know what to think, so we didn't know what was happening or how it started happening.
Matthew Chow began recording, keeping his distance safely in a car, while the two black bears, not the least bit concerned they brought traffic to a halt, remained clearly focused on each other.
And some cars backed away. Some cars turned around and left.
But as the bears began snarling, growling, taking brief breaks to catch their breath, not a single person approached. No one honked their horn on Saturday afternoon. They knew they just had to let nature play itself out.
So the two bears were like fighting each other, and like it got intense at some points where they were like ripping each other's like fur out.
Black bear brawls are nothing new, but they don't usually fight in front of humans. Often it's a dispute over mating, dominance, or territory. And these showdowns are not always quick.
About an hour or so.
It went on for an hour?
Yeah.
So you guys couldn't go anywhere, could you?
No, we just stayed. It went by fast.
The incident was reported to conservation officers, and word spread that two large bears are in the neighborhood.
I go for walks every day by this area, by the creek, and I think it's going to scare me now for a while.
We're told this long battle eventually drew to an end, and the bears wandered back into the woods. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Burnaby.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.